Okay, today I want to give some advice about love. Being in love. Being in love is something people often think they have to be in love to really be happy in their relationships. I would like to say it so strongly that you don't have to be in love to be happy. Most people in the world are not in love when they get married. Most marriages in the world are arranged, and the people who are in these marriages learn to love each other. They learn to build their love day by day. And there are several arguments for why you cannot build a good relationship on these feelings that we call being in love. First of all, being in love doesn't matter statistically for marital happiness. The divorce rates are higher in countries where people are building their relationship on having been in love. The in love feeling usually lasts 3 to 6 months, and when it's over, if that's all there was, this becomes a very unhappy marriage. Focusing on being in love can actually destroy a lot. You search for this fleeting feeling and you get panic when the feeling is gone. If you build your most important relationship on a feeling that usually lasts for just a few months, you're very much at risk of wanting to break out of this relationship when you find another person who gives you the same feeling. That's why basing your marriage on having been in love is very dangerous. Good marriages are based on the following: cooperation, that you do things together, that you respect each other, that you want the other one to be okay. You want the happiness for the other one. That you appreciate the good things in the other one, good abilities, good personality, etc. That you use a lot of time together. That you have common projects like having children, building a home, being in the community together. Okay. It is also very common to start doubting whether you have or have had good enough feelings. That's exactly why we have marriage. That's why we have the promises. That's why we have the contract. Because through generations people know that feelings fluctuate. Feelings go up and down, and if we're going to just base it on feelings, what we feel from day to day, we are bound to get problems. The marriage contract is probably the most important contract you will ever make, and it should be broken only when one party really makes the other party suffer, either physically or psychologically. Everybody's going to quarrel, everybody's going to disagree. So building it on the feeling from day to day is very dangerous. Having a contract that is very hard to break is the best guarantee for happiness. When we promise to be together in good days and in bad, this entails the following. This includes the following: to be together when you're quarreling, to be together even if you doubt your feelings, to be together when one or both of you are sick, to be together when there is external pressure like finance or relationship to other people, to be together when there are temptations from the outside, and to be together even if you start ruminating, worrying a lot about the relationship. Many people are concerned with honesty. Does real honesty exist? No, it cannot by definition exist, because the meanings of our words are different. If you say I love you and you think that you're 100% honest, you might mean one thing and the other person interprets another thing. One person may mean, when he says I love you, I like to be together with you, I think you're very handsome. and I want to have children with you. Another one can mean with I love you, that you bring out the best in me. I like it when you support me. I like it that you bring out the best in me. So, being in love, saying that you are in love, you can never be 100% honest. Actually, honesty in many situations would be cruel. For instance, to say to the other one that right now I think somebody else is much more beautiful and much more sexy than you, and much more intelligent and much more mature. That's not really honest. Because you're going to be with this person, let all these other feelings blow over. Don't have to say everything. Saying everything is downright cruel. It is the actions that show real love, not the feelings. And what are these actions? That can be using time together, doing the best you possibly can do for the other person, building up the other person, praising the other person, give and appreciate intimacy, bodily closeness, support the other one's projects, have projects together, do things together, support the other person's interests, help the other person solve their problems, let the other person help you, let the other person be important to you. So as long as your actions are loving, it doesn't matter which feelings you've had. Feelings vary all the time, and it's impossible to remember exactly what you have felt. That you don't want to hurt the other person, that you don't want to have conflicts with the other person, and that you don't want to live without the other person are big, important parts of love. The only thing that we can control are our actions here and now. We cannot do anything with what we have thought or felt or done. What counts is what we do right now and in the future. And these are the only things we can control, actually. Anybody can doubt whether they have had good enough feelings. If they have stayed together just because they're afraid of being lonely, afraid of having conflict with the other one, afraid of hurting the other one. What counts for marital happiness is to be as good together as you can here and now. When we take decisions, some people might worry that they took the decision about moving in together, about getting married, on the wrong basis. But our decisions are based on so many different things that it is impossible to say that you didn't have the right feeling when you took the decision or things like that. What influences our decisions are feelings, they are thoughts about the past and the future, they are experiences we have had, they are our experiences with other relationship, they are the special needs we have, for instance, for control or for closeness. They are our personality, whether we want to dominate or whether we are very needy. And they're dependent a lot on culture. If you have a Hollywood-style culture where you're very concerned about how you feel and if you found the right person, etc. Or if you live in a culture where you trust that your parents make good decisions and that they have found a good person for you. The feeling that we call in love, you can get it if you want it. You can get it by investing maximally in the other person. Find all the positive things that you like in the other person. Think about this as often as you can and praise the other one for these things as often as you can. Spend a lot of time together, have a lot of projects together, do nice, exciting, romantic things together, share each other's joys, talk together a lot, talk about sorrows, joys, frustration, enthusiasm, and have as much contact, close contact together. Caresses, skin contact, sex. What does not lead to a good marriage, a good relationship, is, for instance, to ask yourself questions all the time about if your feelings are good or honest enough. Ask questions about who loves more and who loves less. Ask yourself questions about the motivation for staying together, either your motivation or the other person's motivation. For instance, if you're afraid, I'm staying just because I'm afraid of leaving. Our feelings and actions are controlled by so many things, like I mentioned before. We don't have an overview of all these factors, so no use thinking too much about them. Rumination about honesty is very destructive. Nobody can be 100% honest, and being 100% honest is downright cruel. So, your actions here and now are what count for making your relationship good. Here and now, and actions, not feelings.